If selling puts is so incredible and so great, why doesn't everybody do it? In today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. If you drop a comment down below on today's video, you're going to get my full Ark Options Strategy playbook completely for free, no strings attached. Just drop a comment down below. It's going to show you how to take your wheel strategy to the next level. And while you're down there, I would really appreciate you hitting that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow. And of course, I hope you're having an absolutely God-blessed day. Again, guys, everything on this channel is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you listen to me, you will lose money. But guys, today we are talking about is selling puts, selling cash secured puts is so great. Why isn't everybody doing it? Why isn't everybody collecting the juicy premiums along the way? Let's talk about it and talk about it in a realistic manner. First and foremost, it all comes down to one, obviously, most people have no idea what it is. Number two, and most importantly, stock selection. That's just the name of the game, guys. Unfortunately, the reality is when you are selling a cash secured put, comes down to selling it on the correct stocks. For example, let's just take a look at it. Now, and this is where I will tell you, right? For example, Apple. If we go over the chart of Apple over all time, right? And about, even if you invested in Apple around 2019, right? Look, what was it trading out? 58? Your gains would have been absolutely astronomical. Most likely, if you do all the crazy math involved in that, there's no amount of premium that you would have collected going up and down around it that would have made up for the fact. It just wouldn't happen. But that's zoomed out, right? That's zoomed out. Us as income investors, right? We're not necessarily always zoomed out so much, right? We are not buy and holders. We are focused on generating income from our portfolios, right? For, whether we're funding a retirement or whatever we're doing, right? I love having a buy and hold portfolio for sure, right? But when I step into the markets as an option seller, I'm focused on income. I am not focused on, full long-term, 10-year gains, okay? But let's take a look at like a 5-year chart here. Has Apple done that much here? Has Apple done that much here for us over the past 5 years, right? Let's say you did buy Apple exactly 5 years ago. It's trading at $137. Now it's up, obviously over $100 a share. I would put up the argument that if you were selling puts and covered calls along the way, taking assignment, capturing it, so, getting great assignments when it's towards the bottom Bollinger Band, selling towards the top, and just jumping around these bands the whole time, you would have made out better. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research on this, right? But it's impossible to time this, right? Because, the reality of the situation is the blue chips, especially the boring blue chip companies that we know, I love to run them on, and it's for these reasons. For the most part, now Apple's a bit of a different case, right? This is one of the most valuable company in the world, right? But if we look at, let's say a Pepsi. Let's look at a Pepsi over the past 5 years. You bought Pepsi 5 years ago. It was trading at $139. It is trading at $139 today. So who would have made, again, this is what I'm trying to make the point that your watch list, your high conviction watch list is important. Look, 5 years ago, who won? I don't even need to tell you because I know you have common sense. Let's say the guy or girl that bought shares, a couple hundred shares of Pepsi at $139 5 years ago, exactly when I shot this video, and you show me their portfolio today, right? Who has made out versus the person that was selling puts and calls on Pepsi for the past 5 years? Who would be made out positive? Obviously, the person selling calls and puts, right? Obviously. But here's the thing, right? Obviously, that person would have collected premiums. They would have collected appreciation, so they would collect some juicy dividends. Obviously, the person here would have collected those dividends as well as their holding. But here's another scary statistic, right? When you're selling puts, you risk getting assigned at a terrible time. For example, right here. What if you drop down to here, right here? Let's say this was, in 2022, around June, and Pepsi was trading at 150.57, and you sold a 155 put, being fair for the most part aggressive, right? How long would it have taken for you to recover, right? Not very long. It would have jumped up, and you would have sold maybe let's say you got a sign at 155, you would have sold your call here. right? Maybe you probably wouldn't have done like a 180 covered call, but you probably would have got you probably would have done like a 160 covered call. Most likely that would have been where you would have ended up, right? Shot up, shot down, shot up, shot down, shot up, shot down. And this is why technical analysis, I always prefer fundamentals over technicals. That's always the key. But do you see what I'm saying? When you are trading with technicals on a blue chip quality dividend paying company, right? We are typically trying to get in at the bottoms, sell at the tops. Get in at the bottom, sell top. Now, obviously, that doesn't always work out. Like this kind of jump from 155 to the span in like literally a matter of a month to 180. Obviously, you're not going to sell at the top at 180. You most like I said, you would have most likely sold at like 160 around then. And yes, you would have missed out on any additional gains. But guess what? You would have jumped back in literally the following month and at like a 160, 155 put. Sold the next month. And this is why technical analysis is important. But here's the thing, right? When you don't have the knowledge of selling puts, right? And I see a lot of people make this mistake, and newbies that come into it is they like, oh, I just learned about this selling options thing. I need to go sell puts. And they'll jump into like a Pepsi at all-time highs, like right here. I guarantee there's people stuck here, right? There's people stuck here. It was 193. They think it's going to 200 to whatever this thing is going to in 2023, right? And they were selling puts at like 190. Yeah, you donezo, right? You're toast at that point. Right, you're quite literally toast. You would have like think about it. You would have rode this thing down. You still are stuck holding that. Right now, obviously, you have decisions to make at that point. That's not the point of today's video, but that's a scary situation to be in. Why do you think I harp so much, guys, on being patient? I don't want to trade every day. I do not force trades. I don't care what people think, whether, I feel like I need to trade, because I've done that. I've made these dumb mistakes. I've made stupid mistakes where I think the stock's flying and I'm just going to sell a weekly put. I end up getting a sign and it just has this massive downturn. Great companies like Pepsi, this happens to. It just happens. That's why I say stock selection, high conviction watch list is your most important asset in this game. Okay, and I treat this like a business, right? If it's not showing me a great setup or the fundamental shifted for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into it. So again, like a Pepsi, I would have never jumped into here. I would have waited probably here. Okay, and this is where it would have tempted me. Now, I like to see where the knives usually fall. So like right here, when it dropped, I would have kept waiting and most likely got in when it was probably around this 160-ish level, right? So we saw it would drop below that bottom Bollinger Band, kind of dropping down, right? I want to see where the knife falls, right? And then we started seeing a recovery. And at that point, usually when I start seeing a recovery, a couple, a week or so of kind of a green or trying to get green, that's where probably I would have done it. I would have done eventually would have most likely done like a 155 put at that point and been selling calls against it. Eventually most likely end up having to sell my shares, right? And doing the same thing. But here's a trap. Take a look at this one. Same exact situation right here, not that long ago, right? November 2024. Look at this thing trading at 160, right? I would have looked at this chart and been like, okay, well, what about in October 2023? This thing was at 150. I'm just going to run the same play again. I'm just going to run the same play again here, right? Because it's most likely going to see a recovery, right? And it did. Look at this. It jumped up a little bit. I would have most likely sold my put right here at like a 160 and then tanked on me. That's the risk of selling puts. That's the risk, right? And then what's the play here? Well, number one, the burden feels a little bit better when the stock does pay a dividend. That's why I stick to this strategy, that the dividend paying stock, because this is a reality that can happen. It's probably happened to you. If you're comfortable enough sharing your story, it will help other people in the comments, right? That's what this community is about, right? Sometimes we get stuck holding a stock that is, like this. It trapped us into 160, right? A 160 put, right? We might have ended up getting side. We definitely wouldn't have been able to get out of there to roll it, because look at this thing. Just got absolutely hammered. Now, again, we would have got taken that assignment and we would still be holding that 160 assignment or 155 assignment to this day. Collecting some nice dividends along the way. Maybe we're trying our best to get our 160 calls in every single month just to collect a little bit of premium, even though it doesn't hit our return on collateral goal. But again, That's just the nature of the beast. And that's why a lot of people don't sell calls. That is part of the risk. Stock selection is important. Now, would I be beating myself up if I owned Pepsi for the last couple years at 160? No, I wouldn't. Because again, what my play would have been, I would have been collecting dividends and I would have been running as best as I can. Even if I wasn't able to do it all the time, I would have been trying to get as much cover call premium as I can to further lower my cost basis. Okay. Now, taking a look at even other companies that I love, right, is Ford. Look at Ford. This is a reality that can happen, okay, guys? Take a look at Ford, okay? Look at this. What happened in the last year, right? Trading at 10, trading at, in the last 5 years, trading at around $10 5 years ago, trading at $14 today. Take a look at the chart, right? Jumped up massively to the 25, or touched 25 right here, dropped back down, right? And it's just been ping-ponging back and forth. Now, a stock like this is the kind of environment that I like to personally be in a little bit more. Stocks that like to ping pong back and forth between their 200 and 300 day moving average, and for the most part, try and stay around them. Now, it's not always possible. Take a look at this, right? Look in 2024, we were trading, look how many months we traded below our 200 and 300 day moving averages, but we did end up coming back and recovering. And now obviously that's not a guarantee. That's not always going to happen, but that's why one of the reasons that I love trading Ford is, for the most part, we're flat. Obviously, we've had this massive spike here. I know that can be argued, but for the most part, we are flat with some decent volatility mixed in, plus an insane dividend. Same thing goes for like an American Airlines. You guys know this was like my training wheel stock, and still to this day, when I can get into American Airlines when I can, I'm gonna do it. I love this company, but for the same kind of thing, right? Usually, is trading for the most part somewhere around its 200 and 300 day moving averages, right? Because those are key support and resistance levels, right? So when I'm looking at this stuff, and even stocks right now in this environment, like for example, another one, Altria, right? It's boring, I get it, right? But like, I'm at least, this is why I harp on the moving averages so much, guys. Like, at least right now, I am below the 200 and 300 day moving averages. It's a sense of comfort, right? Those are such key support and resistance levels that even if I get assigned, I do believe that the stock will recover to a point where at the very least, I'm collecting that dividend and able to collect some covered calls. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button. If you want my covered call and my cash secured premium calculators completely for free, plus my full trade log template that you can start using and keeping yourself organized, attend the Ark Options Strategy workshop down below. It's a 90-minute training that's going to walk you through the entire Ark Options Strategy and how you can fit it into your life in literally an hour a week, if that. So click that first link, get yourself registered. At the end of that training, I give you all of these resources for free, and I also talk about our OSS Mastermind. If you're somebody that's new or just getting into options selling and you want to surround yourself with an absolutely incredible group of people that talk about this day in and day out, we'd love for you to join us. Click that first link in the description of today's video, guys. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.